Morning, here we are then, your weekly instalment of Waffle Wednesday. So this week I'm going to answer the few questions that I got when I did last week. So I said chuck some questions down and we'll answer them. Quite good getting the questions, so keep firing them in, and I'll do this now and again in between deciding what the next waffles are about. Yeah, so let's go with that then. So professionally, you can't see out of shot here that I've got bits of paper stuck everywhere on the dashboard with blue tack. Professional, hey? So first question was from Michael Hudson. What is the worst and the best car you've ever owned, and have you got any funny stories about cars you've owned? Worst car I've ever owned? God, could be the Allegro at the minute. No, not really. I had a count up the other day and I've had 53 cars since 1987 when I passed my test. 53. I get bored very quickly. But without doubt, the worst car I ever owned was a Peugeot 406 Estate diesel. It's the only time I've ever owned a French car. Don't like them. It was horrible. Gearbox was nasty. It was a good, it was a good condition car. I just didn't like it. That was an R-Edge. And the number plate was R82 CNT. So make of that what you will. I didn't like that car at all. The best car I ever owned, that's difficult. It's going to be probably not the best, because it depends what you define best. The favourite car I ever owned would have been my Series 2A Land Rover 88 inch, because I owned it twice. I owned it for about 5 years, sold it, and then a year later I bought it back off the guy I sold it to. I keep checking every now and again that it's still alive, but I don't think it's been MOT'd for years. Sad that, because I'd probably buy it back again. Really love that car. Any funny stories about cars? Well, usual silly stories of being a kid and driving like an idiot, I suppose. Many little shunts and stuff. Probably the funniest story or daftest story is, anybody else have a crash on their first ever driving lesson? That was me. I had 9 lessons and passed my test first go, but on the first driving lesson, it was driving a Mazda 323 on a D-Reg 1986. I got crashed into on a blind bend by a Mini. The driving instructor did say don't let it put you off. He'd have hit me if I was driving, but there you go. That's probably the best I can think of. Firing through these, this is going to take too long. Phil Allen asks, what do you think about using a classic car for long trips or going abroad? Not for me, certainly not with the cars I've got. I know people do it, they go on these gumball rally things and all that. Possibly in a group of people, it's something that I'd enjoy, but certainly not for me. I don't even like driving the Maestro more than 50 miles. I just don't see the point. We've got a nice comfy car at home. I've already got anxiety about the Allegro. I've got a car show in September, which is like, I don't know, 50 odd miles from home, and I'm already going, oh God, I hope it's I've just got to get the reliability sorted, and then I'll start feeling more comfortable. I mean, I know these cars, were designed to do the same sort of mileage as modern cars do, but just with more maintenance. So we'll get there with that. But yeah, certainly that's not something I'm looking at. Local poodle abouts is good enough for me at the minute. Next one is from Ray, and I don't know how to pronounce Ray's surname, because I know Ray from the Volkswagen days when I only knew him as Razzie. But Ray Helmke, sorry Ray if that's not how you pronounce your surname, says, what current cars do you think will be classics in the future? Who knows? I mean, all modern cars look the same to me. They are very much jelly moulded, all to do with safety and stuff, I guess, really, isn't it? I can't think of any yeah, expensive ones, I guess, that they don't make many of. Certainly, you know, you're never going to go wrong buying a classic, you know, a Ford ST or something that, you know, I mean, look how the Cosworths went, you know, the Escort Cosworths, anything Ford, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Sorry, can't think of anything else. Stephen Whitehouse asks, will you do an Allegro and a Maestro comparison video, specifically about the suspension and stuff like that, how different they are? That's perhaps a good idea. Obviously I can do a first-hand comparison on those, having both of them, although the Allegro is a Series 2 and it had been running for 5 years by then. Even by the end of the run, they hadn't really changed much, and whereas the Maestro being a later model, again, they hadn't changed much. So maybe, yeah, that's a good idea. We could do something with that. So yeah, certainly have a go at that. Next one, I'm going way too over on this, aren't I? Diesel Bushcraft asks, what cars have I had or would like in the future? Wow, like I said earlier, 53 cars, I think, 10 Land Rovers, 25 Ford somethings. I had a lot of Fords when I first started driving. I wouldn't touch anything else. Went from Ford to Land Rover. Had a couple of Jags, Peugeot, as I said, Marina, Ital, yeah, loads of stuff like that. What would I have in the future? Don't know. Every time I go to a car show, I see something different and think, oh, I'd like one of them. But space is an issue, and realistically, when I actually get the new motorhome, we're not in every weekend. Like at the minute, I'm doing these car shows and stuff. Normally we're out most weekends, so buying another car is like, what's the point? I'm never going to use it, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, I definitely can't see me never having another Land Rover. I've had 10 of them and I love them, so that might be, you know, what I'm going to get eventually. Like I say, I see so many little classics that I like. The Triumph Toledo the other day at the car show, I loved that car. I'd like that. I'd like a TR7. There's so many cars that I'd like, but I'd never going to have. But probably another Land Rover, and an early one, I guess. I always promised myself a car that was made in the year that I was born, 1968. So that'd be nice, a nice 2A Land Rover in 68, who knows. And then finally, this is from Lee with the Ambassador. We should do a story stroke interview about the Ambassador and compare it with the Allegro suspension wise. Yes, we should, Lee, but that's only because you want to drive the Allegro. You insult it because you love it and you really want one, and you've sold one of your princesses to make room. I know your secret. Yeah, we should do something, Lee, you're right, and we will. Just let me know when. Blimey, I've already gone over 8 minutes and these are supposed to be 5 or 6 minutes. Thanks for watching the videos. I could tell I'd gone too long because I'm already on the A38. Fire the comments down for what you want to talk about next week. Bit of good news for you before I go. Mrs. Agatha has now found new employment, so things are looking up on that front. Thank you for those that said sorry to hear about the job. Didn't think it would take her long. She's far more cleverer than me. So yeah, all is good. I shall catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.